Hey, good afternoon, Aggie Land. We welcome you back inside the TexAgs studio. It is the 9th episode of Looch Bock. I'm Gabe Bock, joined each week by the one and only, you know him as the source, Billy Liucci. We're live every Wednesday at noon, texags.com/live, the TexAgs YouTube channel, and the podcast platform of your choice. Search Looch Bock and subscribe to the podcast. Looch Bock, presented by Bock Realty Group. Luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, and more. Bock Realty Group, two-time Aggie 100 company. Go to the website, check out our listings. I'd love to have a conversation with you. BockRealtyGroup.com. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage. Yes, I am wearing the rollback hoodie for the 9th straight time, I think. And yes, I'm wearing the TexAgs maroon hat. Because why would you do anything to mess up a winning streak? If you've been doing it, like you've been changing your stuff all the time, that's fine. Keep doing that. I have been rolling with the same kind of look, and I won't stop all the way to Miami if I need to.
No, you won't.
Why would I at this point?
Just keep it going, Gabe. It's going to be, you may as well get sponsored at this point.
I mean, it's been 92 a couple times. I'm rolling in here in a hoodie.
In kind of reverse fashion, I have just changed it up constantly.
Yeah, no,
now, what I will do, I'll tell you what I will do sometimes is wear something, like if I'm at home working or if I'm coming up here for 1 hour to go record something and then go about my day, whether that be walk the dog, work out, work, whatever, talk on the phone, like lay around.
Yeah, we all hear you before we see you.
It doesn't matter what it is. I'll wear something in here for 1 hour and then just repurpose it the next day.
Sure.
It might look like, hey, you wore that 2 days in a row, which I would have. But it also might not, because I don't know when the content's going out. So it could both go out on the same day.
Most likely to wear the same shirt 3 days in a row in the TexAgs office. Who would it be? Who's the grossest person at the TexAgs office besides Bronny?
Now
it gets harder.
Speaking of, I don't know, but speaking of Bronny, it could be one of the girls, actually.
Oh, yeah?
You'd think.
Wow.
Yeah, it could.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it could be.
Okay.
I'm not anyone in particular. I'm just thinking, like, sometimes we overlook and you think of, like, me or Bronny or Olin or,
Yeah.
It's definitely not Nuno.
Most likely to get into an Evita rut and wear that Mexican.
Evita?
Yeah. Is that what you call it?
Is that what Madonna played in that movie?
No. YVERRA.
Oh.
That shirt that Olin likes to wear every once in a while with all the pockets.
I didn't know what that was. Yeah, I do know what you're talking about, actually, now that you say that. What are you going to put in those pockets?
I don't know. I mean, I always
maybe a pack of cigs? I don't know.
Possibly.
If I'm... Look, as we talk about TexAgs and the crew...
yeah. I love
I don't even know what I was going to tell you now. You threw me off so much with that. I had something better to go with who.
Was it a girl?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, Gabe. You've completely thrown me off. I'm dialed in. I'm dialed into A&M LSU.
I know.
I'm dialed into college football. This is, I'm dialed into the weather in Baton Rouge. It bothers me.
Oh, no, the rain game.
It doesn't scare me. It bothers me. I always think bad weather is a great equalizer, but I still think in football, the better team, if it's a noticeable difference, the better team usually wins. I just think, and if it comes down to a run game, then maybe A&M will say, well, we're just going to have to run the ball better behind our offensive line that's better than your offensive line. I mean, it just... regardless of how they have to do it, I think they'll figure it out. But it is not going to be easy this weekend. And I feel really weird about being any bit optimistic about a trip to Baton Rouge. And I am, I think the Aggies win a close football game. I think if these two played on a neutral field, A&M would win by 10.
Well, your hot streak continues.
Kyle Field, A&M might blow them out, because I think you can build up enough of a lead where this team goes, man, they're just not playing hard for that guy. But they're going to Saturday night in Death Valley with their whole season.
No.
Like, after that, they're going to stink. If A&M beats them by 1 point or 100, they're going to quit after this week. They're not going to quit. They're going to be there Saturday and show up ready to play. So the Aggies need to be ready. That part
That's
I'm not
true,
worried
man.
about.
Yeah. This is their last bit of hope because it's Bama after that. The schedule doesn't get any easier.
Yeah.
And this is where they're coming off Vandy. They lost 2 out of 3. Like the temperature of that seat is continuing to rise in an area that can't afford to just stay in mediocrity. They're paying him a lot of money to not be that. And Mike Elko is one of the hottest coaches in the sport right now. So it is 2 teams kind of going in 2 different directions.
It is, but how many times have we seen that where A&M has kind of felt like that team and they've won a game? Once against LSU.
That's right.
Once against LSU, obviously once against Bama here. You can go up and down the list of teams that just, Florida last year when LSU went out there. Not just LSU, but Ole Miss and LSU went out there. You never know what play, what quarter, what game can turn a season around, and so it's up to A&M to prevent that from happening. And you know what, Gabe? They've done that. They did it against Arkansas. They did it against Florida. They did it against Auburn. And technically, they did it against Notre Dame. It didn't end their season, but their fans were worried about if they lost that and went 0-2, it's going to end their season as well. But so they've dealt with desperate teams this year, and they've navigated that to like a wide variety, in a wide variety of ways. But they've certainly done that, especially in the SEC, where I'd say 3 of the 4 games they've played have been against desperate teams / coaches, and or desperate coaches.
Yeah, there's something special that this group is building, and this is uncharted territory. You've been doing this for 30-plus years.
Yeah.
All right?
And now apparently all I am is a hand and heads because we can't. We need some alternate. We need some alternate backgrounds. Nobody will listen to me. Everybody just thinks, well, Billy is just complaining to complain. Yeah, it's real, guys. Like, sure, I won't. You want to get on me about never wearing maroon, and then I'll wear maroon and I'll blend in, or brown or black.
You don't like the way you're blending right now?
No, I look like a floating head.
I don't see that.
What is it, the Wizard of Oz?
Your vision is not your strong suit, Bill.
That is fair.
And I'm looking at it right now, not to totally back up the crew here, but like I see plenty of the brown.
I'd probably put it on Josh.
Okay.
The crew can only
in that case, I only see a head and a hat.
The crew could fix it. They don't want to. I don't know what color we could do a white. That might be a little wild, but you could do like maybe match the hat where it's the maroon
back there.
Probably, or Nick rolling his eyes. Cade panics. Nick rolls his eyes. Maybe like this hat color.
Yeah.
But with maroon writing, that might be cool. Yeah. But then I'd wear this hat. Then I'd wear this hat, and I'd be complaining about blending into that.
Yeah, it would nullify the hat choice moving forward. You've been here since the last time, but you've been a little bit nervous. I mean, you called Mississippi State's going to be a little dangerous. Auburn's going to be close. Remember, they had a lot to play for still at that time. You thought it was going to be a really tight game at Arkansas, and it was.
None of these games are easy.
Because we're not used to covering an undefeated team this late in the year. This is uncharted territory for us as professionals.
What do you sense?
I sense that you're right back at it again. That the sucker's not going to be hard or easy. It's always hard.
I think A&M's going to win one of these SEC games comfortably and easily. Let me rephrase that.
Road game?
It might be 2. I think they'll come home and I think they'll handle business against South Carolina. Again, that might be Sellers keeps them in it and they pull away. But yeah, Gabe, I don't know if it's these 3 road games. Somewhere you're going to see this team do it on offense and defense. And when they do, they're going to roll somebody like they did Missouri last year, like they did in the second half of LSU, like they did in the second half of Missouri. Mississippi State, like they did in the second half. Really they didn't roll Florida. They just choked them out defensively. What was that? They outscored them what?
34-17.
Yeah, they did. In the second half, they outscored them what? It was 13-3. They kind of choked them out. But
put it on State after it was close for 3 quarters.
Yeah, that was a 28-0 run. They have it in them. When both sides are doing it, they can really roll. And they were doing it for a minute there against Arkansas up 21-6. Even though the defense wasn't great, they bent, don't break, got to stop. You're like, man, just get it to halftime here. It could be 21-6. Maybe you get a stop here. It's 21-9. you're getting the ball, and then they just couldn't, they couldn't finish out the half, and then we had ourselves a ball game. But, dude, all these are close. Mississippi State was 7-3 at halftime. Florida was, 21-14 at halftime. It was 14-14 to start. Auburn was 13-3 at the half. It was 13-10 early fourth quarter. Ended 16-10, 45-42. Tough teams, tough-minded teams figure out a way to win. And
that's right.
For once, I'm looking at an A&M team with the mindset, the in-game focus, kind of the resiliency, or just the patience and understanding that it's a 60-minute game and there are ebbs and flows, and you're playing well and you're struggling for a little bit and you can get it right back in the same game. They have a great feel for, like, let's say, game management, game control. They know they can win it late. They know they can win it last second. They know they can put a team away in the second half after a close half.
On-side adjustments, too, on the fly.
Yeah, and you've got, and on top of that, what makes it, you've got elite players. And that was one of my big questions coming in the season, Gabe. My two big questions were the D-line. How big a step back, if any, would it be, losing all those guys? That was, and I said, I like the pass rush. How much would this D-line hold up? They have checked that box and then some. And then the flip side of that was, on the offensive side was, it was just, and on defense, does A&M have these high-end SEC game changers? And the only guy I mentioned Moss and Concepcion. Well,
the rest were questions.
They've had Moss, Concepcion, Craver, obviously, Marcel Reed, and then on defense, you have to put in Cassius Howell. And in different weeks, there are other guys that are doing that too. Sanford or Dalton Brooks or Torian York. They've all had games where they've been that guy.
The corners have had moments.
Corners have been studs. But Howell, Moss, the two receivers, Reed, they've really been those guys. And the biggest thing that we knew the O-line would be good. We wanted to know, could they be elite? They've been elite. They've been as good as any group in college football. I think if the season ended today, they should, trot that group down there. I don't know if Kubalik or Aaron Taylor or whatever. They need to trot that Joe Moore Award down here, because that's how good that group's played.
You better believe
7 games this fall.
Yeah, you better believe it. No, you're 100% right. I'll also give credit to, and a lot of this does go to the Maroon Goons up front, but your run game's not torpedoed with Moss out anymore.
Yeah.
This is another step, more healthy, veteran, hungry number 4 offensively, and some guys behind him that are hungry for touches too, like we saw with 22 the other day. But I think Reuben Owens is taking a huge step forward. Part of it is he's got a great line, and part of it is he just looks so much healthier.
Yeah, he looks explosive. You see him on those 2 touchdown runs. He made a sensational catch that really was a massive play in that game. They scored a play later to go up 10, and that kind of changed it was that followed quickly by that 20-yard sack down near the goal line. So those 2 plays really swung. Just like that. Owens catching that ball, they score a play later. Owens runs it in,
exactly,
and then they get that sack right away. 2nd and 30. All of a sudden, Arkansas went from like, hey, this is just a track meet, let's try to have the baton last, to we're playing significant catch up and the clock isn't our friend. And there was no way we were punting on this drive, but on 4th and 21, we have to.
From your own 10.
Yeah, so
awesome.
that catch by Owens, because if they didn't make it, and I've said this all week, Elko's going for it on 4th and 2 from the 19. And if you don't get it, they're getting the ball back down 3. At this point, there's like 7 minutes left. So it's not earlier in that drive when EJ made that incredible play. There was like 10 minutes left, 11 minutes left, but they also were all but guaranteed to tie the score, if not take the lead inside the 35. So those 2 were two just massive plays in that football game because in no world was Elko kicking a field goal there to go up 6 and risk losing by 1.
Well, I think we need to give Colin Klein some credit, too. The creativity we saw throughout the game, but in particular on that third down.
Yep.
To get it out to
That was a cool play.
It was cool. Yeah.
Hey, you don't have Le'Veon Moss. That yard or two down the goal line's tougher. Okay, well, you get Reed, just walks it in the left corner on a great play call, and then you've got a nice play where Burkitcher's wide open for a touchdown. And then so you did some nice things down there. Mm-hmm. The formations have been very different. You're not predictable in short yardage anymore at all. So I think he's done a great job. And up and down the field, they're going to take measures to limit Crave, Mario, and KC. And by the way, eventually, and probably pretty soon here, one or both of those guys are going to pop off and have a massive game. It's coming.
Yep.
140, 150 yards. Like one of them two is having it soon.
There's no doubt.
But if you're going to focus that much attention on them, the tight ends have become a greater factor. The backs out of the backfield.
Keep going.
The run game, like they'll.
About that new kid outside. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And he, it's good to see for him because I think he was kind of going through it a little bit. He had such high I think the team. You talk to anybody inside the program, they had high expectations for him this year. I've been saying it every week that he's going to have one of those games, and thank God he did on Saturday night, or you might have lost. 4 catches, 83 yards, scored their first touchdown, had a sensational catch on that same drive. Arkansas got to be so frustrated on that drive because you blew up a 4th down, and E.J. Smith just wanted it more and got it.
That was pretty
You
amazing.
had great coverage on Bethel Rome, and that you would think 9 times out of 10 that goes incomplete, and it's 3rd and 10. Instead, it's a perfect throw from Marcel, a sensational catch by Bethel Rome, and the Aggies are all of a sudden Arkansas's on their heels, and then we talked about the 3rd and 2 later in that drive. So that they got to be like, what if you're Arkansas? Like, what more can we do? What more can we do?
Well, I mean, Green was unbelievable for them, but Reed wasn't too far behind, and Reed's coming out victorious. Marcel was incredible. This is now the 2 road games when you absolutely had to have every single ounce of what he gave you, or you lose both those games. And he did it. I mean, 22 of 32, 83 touchdowns, ran for 55 a score, and then had a 57-yard run. The SEC officials, if you don't know by now, they want to be a part of the storyline. Mm-hmm. They thrive off that. They're like vampires. They thrive off of it. They want to suck the freaking blood out of you, and that's exactly what they did. You got the holding call, which is a little weak.
It was really weak. And I'll tell you what pisses me off is that would have been a 400-yard, 5-touchdown effort.
Oh. Now where is
and that image of Reed running into the end zone from 57 right through an SEC defense, even though they're barely an SEC defense, but they are.
Yep.
He'd have had 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. You combine that with that Notre Dame game, and in 2 true road games, he would have gone for 800 yards, almost exactly 800. That was a 57-yard run. I think he finished with 335. Almost exactly 800 yards in 2 games, and I think he accounted for against Notre Dame? Was it 2 or 3 touchdowns, no picks?
It was like 360 passing.
It was 397 total. So you'd have almost 800 yards, and at a minimum, you'd have had like 7 touchdowns to 1 turnover. It might have been 8 to 1. I'm not sure.
It's 6 total and 1 on the road so far, averaging 320 through the air. 6 total touchdowns and 1 turnover.
He only had 1 touchdown against Notre Dame.
Didn't he?
He threw the touch.
And he ran 1.
Yeah, so 2. Yeah. So 2 total.
Let me look it up.
I thought he had
Notre
2.
Dame.
I thought he had 2.
No, he had 2. You're right.
He had to throw to Burkitcher and a touchdown to Craver. Yeah.
He had 2, and then he had 3, so that's 5 and 1 total rushing, so 6 total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Because he had 2 passing against Arkansas. No, 3.
You're messing me up. Let me just stop us here.
Okay.
He had 4 touchdowns Saturday night against Arkansas.
Correct.
And he had 2 against Notre Dame.
Correct.
He did not have a run.
Right.
So he had 7. No, he had 6 total, 1 turnover. Yep. Should have had 7. Should be averaging 400 yards in 2 road games.
Yes.
But as it stands, he goes 335 or so total offense and 4 touchdowns in Fayetteville. He goes 397 or so total offense, 2 touchdowns against Notre Dame. Like, this guy, he's been incredible. He was the better quarterback Saturday night. And Taylor Green put on a show. He looked like Vince Young out there.
He really
couldn't
did.
tackle him in the way he was running. But Marcel Reed was the better quarterback. You know why?
He won the freaking game.
He won the game. He won it without mistakes. Now, last year, Taylor Green lost to Marcel. They didn't ask Marcel to do nearly as much. You look at his growth in that game versus this game, but it was Taylor Green that made the big mistake, the interception, and then late in the game fumbled it. He takes too many sacks. So I heard Petrino talking about that after the game. It was Taylor Green that missed the wide open touchdown on that 4th down early in the game. They got the tight end going up the seam. It was Taylor Green that took the disastrous sack we talked about when he should have thrown it away. It was Taylor Green that took another really bad sack that could have ended the game. Now, he made a great throw to Omega Blake, and but that sack still cost them, like, because of Petrino's weird clock management, that cost them like a minute. That sack did. So that whole Green was making mistakes mixed in with brilliant plays. Marcel was just brilliant.
You're exactly right. No doubt. You know, I get all my prep from Luke Evangelist. I really hate to admit that, but on Twitter, it's pretty awesome. After
he does a great job.
So Marcel, so much better. One area he was so much better, other than completion percentage, okay? Like, one area within the game, he was so much better than how brilliant he was at Notre Dame was against pressure.
Yeah.
You know, because the numbers were skewed when he had time, when he didn't in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the case on Saturday. According to Luke, 9 of 14, 130 yards, and all 3 passing touchdowns were when Arkansas blitzed him. And against pressure had a grade, according to PFF, of 93. If that doesn't show you the continued improvement within the season, along with everything else we're seeing, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no.
And now he's in the forefront of the Heisman talk, which is really fun. We hadn't seen this in a while.
I heard today, Brandon Walker talking about it and over there at Barstool. And, you know, sometimes they say things that, well, first of all, they love to incite and troll, especially our girl Casey. But
they love to hate A&M just because they know she'll take the bait. I don't think deep down they really hate A&M, but they do.
Well, they might.
They don't give us a lot of credit most of the time. Well, who does, frankly?
Well,
look at the SEC network.
And look, sometimes A&M doesn't. You know, it's like, show me, prove it before but I think they've done that this year. Win or lose Saturday, then you can revisit the end of the season. They could lose in Death Valley and win out and be 11-1, and what's wrong with that? But if they win this weekend and go 8-0, but I think as we sit here today, you've got to give this team credit, and they are. Everyone else is. There is a degree of skepticism. Mm-hmm. I don't like where someone like the SEC network, people have them ranked, and it's like you're going to put A&M behind Vandy right now. No offense to Vandy, but like, if you compare resumes, and losses also have to matter. They've got one, and if you compare resumes and best wins, A&M's got the best win. So and then just watching the Aggies play. So if you want to sit there and say, hey, I'm like, I heard T-Bob today. Defense can be pretty up and down. You know, it's not a sure thing with them. Their defense hasn't traveled. That's fair. Now, you could break down the why and say it's C.J. Carr and Taylor Green and
well, I think those are 2 of the 10 best offenses in the country right now. Hands down.
They are. But you also gave up 45 and 40, so
that's true.
I get it. But you got to go, okay, well, what offense does it look like that? Are they going to play the rest of the way? That concerns me a little bit for Missouri, but I don't think they're on that level. They're not. Pribula is not anywhere near Green or Carr. Now, he can have a game where he is, and that's what you got to look. But he's not. Those 2 guys are better.
Well, let me tell you, they don't have pass catchers either of those teams.
That's the other thing, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I'll still say Hardy is not Love. And Hardy has put up some big numbers against some of the lesser teams. He has not as much lately. That's a good offense. It's a really good one. I don't think it's elite like these 2. Arkansas's offense, did you see that stat? I think I might have retweeted it or I saved it. In the last 10 years, they're like kind of right in the middle of like 2018 Bama, 2019 Bama, 2019 LSU, 2023 LSU, and that's kind of it. It's literally like
in terms of just their production right
every team yards per play.
Okay, wow.
Every team is either a national title winner and or had a Heisman winner. You think about Devontae Smith.
Seriously.
Yeah. And then you had like the Mac Jones, Tua, Bama teams in there, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and then there's Arkansas. So
that's pretty wild.
Not to say like still like 42 is too much. Now I know they scored one there very late, but it wasn't mop up time. So it doesn't matter if there's 20 seconds left. A&M was trying with their starters to keep them out of the end zone. But yeah, like I just don't see them playing that kind of offense until, and this is where you do file it away. You run into like a Tech or an Oregon or maybe even an Ole Miss, although I don't think they're as explosive as they used to be, but they are. I mean, they're still, Chambliss and company are still good, and it's still lame. But like teams like that if you truly are weak against that type of style, they'll exploit it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that, you still do need to clean it up.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'd love to see that next step against Missouri.
Yeah.
Like a great offense. Yeah.
Hopefully they're really motivated this weekend to bounce back. I mean, I know they're motivated, but hopefully the message got through from Elko to say, hey, guys, like that was embarrassing. You should be embarrassed of your effort. You tackled poorly. You blew assignments. You missed containment. And I think the coaches, too, need to go back and look at that and go, why did that happen to us? Like, you always have to say, like, and I don't know, they could have gone with the simplest thing, but did we make it too complicated for the guys? Or why were they having so many busts? Or are there a couple guys that need to play less against that type of defense? Like, you have to coach through it and you have 100%. To motivate through it. And I think these guys will come out Saturday defensively and really want to play their asses off.
Yeah.
I think when Elko doesn't name a single player on defense when he is picking players of the week or whatever, I think that's sending a pretty clear message that, hey guys, like
Bill Self used to talk a lot, but probably still does, but about coaching really hard after you win. You don't play well, but you win the game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm going to absolutely light them up all week long.
Yeah.
And we won. So there's still so much motivation. You got so much to play for.
I think coaching is so interesting, though, and I think Elko does a great job with this. You've heard some of it on, like, the Pulse, and you saw him throw the chair at Notre Dame. And he is a hard-ass, old-school coach with a new-school line of thinking and mindset. Like, he will not lose the ability to rip a player, a unit, a team's ass, but it's not personal. It's not belittling to players or coaches. He's not trying to embarrass. Some coaches like to motivate by embarrassing. We're of that age where that was a lot of it when you'd screw up. And there are some really successful coaches still that do that, but he's not one of those. But he will dial up the temperature and let everyone know, I'm pissed off. This isn't fun and games out here today. We're getting work done, and you're not doing it. But at the same time, at the end of practice or even within practice or in the off, those guys can go joke with him. He jokes with them. They can put their arm around him. They can give him a hard time. They can, they're having fun, and they're having fun with their coach, not in spite of their coach or not trying to break through and have fun. But this is a serious program, and this is a serious head coach that's serious about winning, and that's what you're seeing in this football team. And
Amen.
I think he does a great job of, like, so this week, I promise you, he ripped the defense's ass, and probably at halftime, probably after the game, probably on Sunday. But he also did not make that a miserable week of practice for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he I don't think you say you tear them down, you build them up. I don't think he tears them down. I think he just says, guys, that was pitiful and y'all know it. And we can't ever do that again. And then the buildup is just making sure that they're dialed in for a good week of practice.
Yeah. Well, not to belabor the officiating situation that we're dealing with, but let me tell you something. We give up half of that if they call a single hold against Cassius Howell because he automatically, what they call one?
No, I'm saying if they did.
He automatically had 6 pressures anyway, 7, something like that, 8. He hit him a couple times, and they held him all freaking night.
Yeah.
To no call.
Well, then they single blocked him a lot of the night too, which I thought was crazy, but I guess you can if you hold.
Exactly. This is my thing is he's one of the stars of college football in 2025. And the SEC has shown they'll protect stars, but he's getting Nick Scorton treatment right now. They're acting like he's a second teamer from Kentucky.
Did they protect Myles Garrett?
No, they really didn't. They don't protect our stars, but they've protected other ones.
I don't know how much they protect defensive ends with holding.
God,
I don't know
it's ridiculous.
I didn't watch,
call for it all the time.
I didn't watch Clowney enough to know.
Yeah,
but
true.
Yeah. I mean, A&M gets called for holding constantly. They call Crown over when he just shoves a dude down and matadors them. They're going to call that. They called Besantis for that crap the other day. That was pitiful.
That happens every single play for every single team.
Yeah,
what Besantis did.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent. But as I've said, maybe on this show, but I've said it many times, A&M played Notre Dame. There might be a holding call that if A&M's 10-2 gets them in the playoffs, that wasn't called. Now,
100%.
Like
I know.
If they call that, it's 4th and 21, and
right.
They didn't. And if A&M's 10-2 and Notre Dame's 10-2, and you're going, well, you beat them in South Bend on the road, and you're both 10-2, and you were in the SEC. I know nobody thinks that, but I truly believe A&M would get that call because even the Notre Dame factor gets nullified by, hey, you beat them. Heads up. They didn't call that one.
Thank you.
They did call a couple of blatant holds against Auburn in that game that wiped out about 80 yards worth of plays. It was a long run by Jackson Arnold. It was another third down catch that kept a drive alive in the third quarter of that game. They got wiped out and killed the drive. So they're getting some. A&M false started. It was like a late snap against who was it? Oh, against Mississippi State.
No,
it was 3-0.
That's right.
Before halftime, and you hit that touchdown to consider.
That's true.
So I just think more than an agenda against A&M, I think it's terrible officiating, and I think they need to do a much better job of calling clotheslines on the edge. Like, look, If you're being hand around neck, just call it. You'll be safe. If they've got their hand around the guy's neck as he's going by, I promise you can call it. That's a real holding call. If you just start by doing that, you'll be okay.
All right, last thing then. Then how do you explain, I didn't even know that a fine could be levied on a head coach. If you already, and we heard about the new rule, and the penalty is going to be you have to lose a timeout. If you don't have any timeout, it's a 5-yard penalty. So how does that equate to we're going to drop a $50,000 fine because we absolutely knew that he didn't have a cramp? That's my point. I know
there's been some people that have pointed out that see what I think happened, maybe. People have pointed out that he was trying to wave himself out the play before. I think maybe he was cramping up and knew it. And if that really, I didn't see what the coach did, but if the coach said, I think the coach was like, he's cramping, like, get down. Like, it's a legit, your player's cramping up. They're going to run a play. Get down. So you don't have to play the play while you're in the process of having a leg cramp. I think that's probably what happened. And if they said that was a fake injury, they're wrong and they're right. Like, he did, if that's true, he did go down because he said go down, and that's strategy, but that was also a guy that was locking up and needed to come off the field. And if you're going to let teams go like we've done for the last 15 years and go at NASCAR pace, sometimes those guys are going to do that. Now, the hard part for the league is delineating what's real and what's fake. It's just mind-blowing to me, and it does make you go, is there some kind of agenda? And I'm the least conspiracy guy there is. I think us as a fan base take it further than most fan bases in this league, and I think we have a reputation for that around the conference and the country. But when things like that happen, it does add credence, and it does make even myself wonder, like, that rule's been in place for how long? This is the third season of it, and it's never happened where the fine's been levied and they've reprimanded and handed out a fine. Not once, ever. In a league where Lane Kiffin exists?
Exactly.
Never.
I mean, he would do that half dozen times a game.
It's not just him. It's 3/4 of the league, and I'm not even saying A&M's never done it.
All the visor coaches do it.
Yeah, and then every time you face one of those teams, you try to do it back at them because it's like, hey, if they're going to do it, so when you play like an Ole Miss and everybody's doing it, like that game here where he called out Bryce Anderson, like everybody's just flopping around. But to all of a sudden say, well, hey, we're going to fine A&M, that did feel weird because, like, come on. And that was far from, like, it wasn't one of those, like, where the guy just, right before the ball snap looked like they get shot. Like, it wasn't, it's not that.
No, I mean, and when you look at snap count, Shaw is playing half the snaps.
Yeah.
Well, there had to be a reason for that probably. Maybe it's matchup. Maybe Chappelle, who every year deals with something, is dealing with something.
Yeah.
You never know. What do I know? But just looking at it, outside looking in. All right, I got to give you credit. I think every week I'm doing this, and I hate it every time, but I do have to because you freaking called it on the show last week. Win or lose, Napier's probably out at Florida, that they're circling the wagons there.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is it's about time. I mean, you're a business person. Bad business is delaying the absolute inevitable. We all knew last year. Now, this is portal at play because you thought Lagway was going to be Tebow or Vince. So it's like, well, we can't lose him.
Mm-hmm.
You close well enough to keep him. But it was the inevitable. They finally made the move. Scott Strickland letting Napier go. So where do you see that situation
playing out? That's 2 down in the SEC. With probably 1 or 2 to go.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Freeze. We're looking at you, Freeze.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Stoops. Stoops really let an opportunity get away. Both of them.
Oh, my gosh.
Freeze let opportunities get away 4 out of 4 weeks.
Oh, my gosh. Stoops, though.
Stoops really.
You watch tape, bro?
He crapped the bed, man. Yeah, go back and look at what happened at Kyle Field. Or more importantly, look at the play before on 3rd down when you're running back.
No chance.
This is what he looked like trying to dive over the goal line. Watch this pin. That's what he did. That was his leap, and he's wearing Kentucky blue right here, this pin, right? This is what he did.
Like breaking down tape here.
Like Marcus Allen, go watch the guy. Running start, like that.
Yeah.
Walter Payton, boom. You got Bo Jackson, boom. Except when he's playing A&M. But you don't jump straight up. So all you had to do was watch the previous play and go, well, we're scratching that one off. Instead, he said, that looks so good, we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Stupid.
In the backyard in Youngstown, Ohio.
Is why Stoops will be gone, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I don't dive into the contracts at Kentucky or in Auburn, but Freeze is 0-4 in the SEC for the 3rd year in a row. You can't do that. I don't care how close it was, how much you got screwed. Speaking of officiating, Auburn should have beaten Oklahoma and Georgia, and the SEC officials took those away from them. But you're 0-4 for the 3rd year in a row to start league play. That is not what they're about on the Plains. I don't see that lasting. Napier, is the other Florida coach out too? Is Norvell going to be out as well after that loss to Stanford? I think so.
If they can afford it.
Yeah. How can you go 1-11 in conference during any stretch ever, unless it's like your first year and a half as a head coach, and still have a job? I could see James Franklin ending up there
at FSU,
in Tallahassee. And then as far as I think it's obvious it's going to be Florida's going. It feels like they're going Kiffin or bust. And they might
Will
bust.
they get him, do you think? They tried before, didn't they? Loosely?
I'm not buying all this BS, and it's like all the usual suspects. It's just all the, everybody that just, they're all in bed together, and everyone's like been convinced to buy that Lane Kiffin is just happy as a clam. He's reformed himself in his life, and he's never leaving Oxford. He's found his fit. Maybe that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sitting here like hating Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I just think it's so naive, and everyone's bought it, to think that this guy is all of a sudden content to the point that no one can get him out of Oxford, Mississippi. And I love Oxford, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me that you truly believe this and that everyone that covers sports in the SEC is buying this. I'm not. I'm not saying he won't stay. He could. But if you're just like, man, he just loves it here and his kids are happy and he's happy, and that dude knows what he could do in Gainesville.
Oh, my gosh.
He knows.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what success he's had at Oxford, number one, he hasn't broken through yet. I think they'll get to the playoffs this year, but he hasn't. Number two, he's figured out this portal thing. He's done a tremendous job, but he can't recruit at a high-level high school. Some people can say he can. He's just doing it in portal. No, he can't. At Florida, he could do both, and damn, he would have a monster program. He could act in such a way that would remind their fans of, these renegades like Urban and like Spurrier. He would be the visored villain.
Yep.
And that's a hard one. It's a hard one to pass up. And I also know, Lane's had a wandering eye more than once prior, including a couple years ago, even looking at this job. So,
what'd you talk about 2 weeks ago with the hometown fans? You start griping about the home fans.
Oh, when he's talking about the crowds. Yeah.
You start griping about there's more fans hanging out in the Grove than actually choosing to come in and use their ticket that they own.
Yeah. That ain't going to be a problem.
Turgeon. We've seen it here.
It's not going to be a problem at Florida.
No, absolutely not.
I'm not saying he will, but it's a very real chance. It'd be more interesting if he doesn't, just to see the fallout there.
You go get another visor guy like Drink.
It's Florida, man. And Drinkwitz is a good coach, but I just feel like
they could do better.
I feel like, what is Florida? Are they regretting firing Mullen?
Why wouldn't you? It's been absolutely disastrous since
he's done a good job at UNLV.
He went to the SEC championship game the year before they fired him. Yeah, he was getting weird. No telling where that would have gone.
It was getting weird, but that's who you hired. It wasn't like Dan Mullen was acting anything like he didn't act. But I just think at Florida, man, you need to get a stud recruiter. Look how Napier recruited there, and he stunk. And he came from ULL. It wasn't like he was coming from like some big place where he had like this reputation, And I know he'd coached at other places as an assistant, but like it wasn't like where he's proven he could recruit at a high level as a head coach of a Power 5 place.
Sure. Yep.
So, but you look at the players they had at Florida. Just look around the country where they came out of the portal and what they still have on campus. If I'm Mike Elko, I'm looking at Florida right now. I got a real close eye at Auburn and guys like Cam Coleman and the 2 5-star recruits that they've got committed that the Aggies absolutely wanted. Jace Matthews and Braylon Womack, the receiver and safety. Like, I got my eyes on over there. I got my eyes on that roster in Gainesville that a couple of your coaches are very familiar with. I mean, you go poach and purge, and then you go beat LSU Saturday, and you get the heat turned up on Brian Kelly, and you get that thing to be in complete turmoil, and you let those players and those recruits, like a 5-star Lamar Brown, start looking around and going, damn, I really picked LSU over A&M. Look what they're doing right now.
I want to dance with that
They'll
weirdo.
take me back.
Yeah.
They'll take me back. I don't even know if Kelly's going to be here, and if he is, it's not going to be here for much longer.
Exactly.
Maybe Notre Dame set that to moving in L.A., and you look at Booby Feaster and the Big D tackle from Dallas, and you start going, hey, guys, that's why this game this weekend is really important, because if you win it, you go to 8-0. The whole country. What will happen, Gabe, is if you go 8-0 and Marcel has a solid game, doesn't even have to be special. If he has a special one, but if he has a solid game, go 8-0. Your QB's moving up in the Heisman conversation. He's going to figure more prominently. There's going to be a dividing line between now and the next time you play. So it's 2 weeks worth of conversation where it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, you, and Bama. There's going to be you're going to be on the side of that cutoff line of like, hey, it's these guys, and then there's a bunch. And so what that does for the program visibility, the prestige of it all, what these recruits in not only 26, but especially 27 are looking at. You let Elko and those coaches go on the road during a bye week at 8-0 and ranked number 3. Like, this is a big one. And it's one giant step closer to finishing, reaching the playoffs, reaching Atlanta, finishing 10-2 or more, maybe even I think if you win Saturday, you start going, okay, what's 11-1 look like? Can you win out?
Yep. Yeah.
Because right now winning out, Gabe, seems daunting to me. And I've said all along, I don't think any team in the SEC will be undefeated. Right now there's one. It's right here.
Yeah.
Right now there's one undefeated team.
Well, we've never covered undefeated, so I don't know what that looks like.
No. And I still don't think there's going to be an undefeated, but I do believe A&M's going to win out in their home games, and that leaves 3 other games. And to sit here and go, they're going to win in Death Valley, at Mizzou against a good team in a pretty crazy small environment, and then go win in Austin against Texas. To take all 3 of those and say win, 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 that's tough to do.
But you win on Saturday.
One by one, my answer would be, yes, I think they can. And if you knock off one of those and you just give me, hey, you got 2 road games here, man, I would sit there and go, man, well, they've won in Death Valley, Fayetteville, and South Bend. They're 5-0 in the SEC. They got a bye week to get ready for that Mizzou game. And Texas is not playing good football. Just factually, they're just not. And if you told me I had to win those 2 plus a home game against South Carolina, then I would start to go, I could see it. But right now, like, you could see an 11-1. You can see it. And if they beat LSU, I would feel really optimistic about them being 11-1. And by the way, you know what 11-1 does? It guarantees you. So 11-1 guarantees you a playoff berth. 100 times out of 100. 10-2 might be 80 out of 100. You're probably getting there.
Can we take it further? It guarantees you a host, if not a bye.
Yeah, that too. And I also think, it guarantees you a host or a bye, right?
A host at Kyle. Have we been thinking about this? A home game playoff at Kyle Field as a 5 seed against a daggum group of 5?
Maybe a snow game. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding about that.
Where you get the 4 if you win and you're just as good as them? I'd like to be the 5. I want to play a game at Kyle Field. I mean, everyone wants a bye.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a home game at Kyle Field.
You'd love a bye too, though. But
of course.
But you love a bye and being, I don't know what the bowls are this year there, but
yeah.
But also, you know what you didn't mention? We've been in this league 14 years. You've never won in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
If you win in Baton Rouge, you're probably 1 road win away, and you could still get there at 10-2. But you're 1 road win and 2 tries away probably from playing in Atlanta. We've never seen, I know it's about the playoffs, but we've never seen Texas A&M play for an SEC title. Texas did it in year 1, which is sickening. Yep. Missouri's done it twice because they were in the East. We've never seen A&M do that. They were unable to do that in 2020 because you had Kirby and Nick, and you lost head-to-head to Nick. You were not able to do that in 2012 because you dropped a couple games early. We've never seen it. And, oh, by the way, I think you'd have a great shot to beat, let's just say, who knows who you'd play. Could be Ole Miss because they might just maneuver around. But,
another team who's never gone there.
But imagine if you got
crazy
Alabama or Georgia in it, because that's what I I want to see A&M in the playoffs, number one. But, man, number 1A to me would be seeing this team in Atlanta taking the field against the Crimson Tide or the Georgia Bulldogs. Like, the cream of the crop, the class of this conference since A&M's joined it, the cream of the crop, the class of college football in the last 15 years plus. Like, give me 4 quarters in the Georgia Dome against one of those two programs. That is a playoff game. And I know, like, both teams would already be in.
Makes it even better.
And that's for an SEC title. So there's so much to play for. We're ahead of ourselves in that. If you beat LSU Saturday, I think you can have all of those conversations become extremely realistic, damn near likely.
And a 2-team BCS platform is just about getting in, and a 4-team is just about getting in. But we're getting into this situation now that A&M's really good and playing for a whole lot of stakes that you win against LSU, and it's like baseball or basketball down the stretch when you're 12-3 in conference, and you're getting into the dang tournament. But now it's how high a seeding can we get?
Yeah,
can you get to that 5 seed? Can you get to 4 or 3?
You still got to get a road win.
Yep.
Against a ranked team. As we sit here today.
Yep.
You got to beat a ranked team on the road in 3 tries.
Yep.
And that's just to get to 10-2. You'll probably get in at 10-2 because I think your 10-2 resume, somebody was worried the other day on the boards of, that'd be 2 of your last 4 games that you lost. So that would be, you'd be viewed as plummeting. I don't think so. I think when you look at the resumes, and that Notre Dame win over USC was a big deal. For that.
Weighty.
First of all, I still think you beat out a 10-2 Notre Dame if it comes down to it. And I think if there's 5 10-2 SEC teams, you're going to beat out a couple of them. And probably 4 of them are getting in, and you're going to beat out a couple with your resume. And I also think if there's a second Big 12 team, a 10-2 A&M with a road win at Notre Dame gets you in. And then it starts getting down to get interesting if Miami's sitting at 10-2. I think Miami at 10-2, not going to the ACC title game, I think they're out. Miami's got to win out. There's a problem in the ACC, though, that an 11-1 Miami is getting in. And you could have an 11-1 Miami that doesn't have to play the ACC title game.
And still get in. Yeah.
And an 11-1 Miami and an 11-1 Georgia Tech could get in. So do you need Georgia Tech to lose to Georgia and then lose the ACC title game?
In which
but
case
then if Miami's 11-1 and Virginia beats them, they're still getting 2. The ACC is trending towards 2.
Which is going to eliminate one SEC
That
team.
keeps the SEC from getting 5.
Right.
So
don't want to be that 5th.
So if
on
you're
the order.
Get to 11-1 and you don't have to worry about it. At 10-2, I still think A&M. Here's the issue though: 11-1 Ole Miss. You want OU.
I'm just not buying them still.
I'm not either, but look at their schedule. Yeah. You want them to lose to OU this weekend in Norman.
100%.
Because after that, it's like, I don't even know who they play. I think they play, I know they play, obviously, Mississippi State, but it might be like Kentucky. It might be Kentucky.
No, they beat Kentucky already.
Oh, that's right. That was a close game, too.
They play South Carolina, Citadel. Watch that one.
And
Florida. And then at Mississippi State. Yeah.
So they're going to be favored the rest of the way.
After this one.
You really want them to lose because I think 10-2 A&M certainly gets in over 10-2 Ole Miss. They're going to lack resume. That would mean they'd probably lose to OU. They won't have any kind of significant win, right? Yeah, they wouldn't. So that's a big one. Other teams will beat up. But I could see Bama, Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss. OU's got it rough. Tennessee's got it rough.
Yeah.
They play each other. Those teams will all, I think, weed themselves out. So you want to get I think OU beating Ole Miss would be really significant on the A&M getting in at 10-2.
Yeah, and don't forget, Poppy could throw a monkey wrench in this deal. Beat Texas.
Yeah.
You never know, man. That's
in Missouri.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go 10-2, but your win is against one of your losses is to Mizzou, and they go 10-2. So and then Pavia's a wrench in there as well. But again, like outside of that Mizzou thing where they beat you in a head-to-head, the Pavia, the Tennessee, the Ole Miss, if one of them's 10-2, I just don't think it stacks up against the 10-2 A&M.
Yeah. Well, and one of them is going to be a 2-loss team coming out of this weekend because they play each other.
Now,
and there's still going to be some beat up on you happening down the stretch.
Now,
that's going to help us.
Go win this weekend, and you start worrying a lot less about that.
Mm-hmm. All right, buy, sell, rent, presented by BachRealtyGroup.com. We invite you to check out the featured listing page at BachRealtyGroup.com. Check out our inventory at we've been selling them. Hey, when Aggie football is good, we sell houses. Not just us. This is just what happens. We all wish we had bought pre-Johnny in the Southside Historic District. You'd be making about 5 times what you put in. But it ain't going in reverse, I'll tell you that much. And it's only going in one direction in College Station. And when A&M's good, people buy real estate. And that's what's happening right now. So did I tell you 2 weeks ago we had about 30 listings? We got 18 right now. So I'm going to tell you, the market is responding to the success of the football team. And we all know we revolve around the sun in the middle of this town, which is that campus. So there's something for everybody on the website. Go check it out, BachRealtyGroup.com. All over the SEC, player or team or coach, who are you buying this week, Billy?
Around the country, I'm buying BYU.
I know.
You lose your quarterback right before the season. What a disastrous blow. You got a guy wearing what number? Is their quarterback right now?
I don't know. 47,
but Bear, the winning the Holy War. BYU's got to go to Tech soon. I like this BYU team to maybe win that Big 12 and be one of these playoff teams we're talking about.
Got my eye on that game in Ames with them this weekend.
Yeah, interesting. Off that emotional win to go on the road.
Yeah.
Everybody's written off, Matt Campbell in Iowa State. They had a bad loss. I'm buying Georgia. I'm buying Georgia off against what's left on their schedule. Although I think Haynes King and Georgia Tech can give them a problem, just like they did last year. But I'm buying Gunnar Stockton. I've said, and I've rubbed it in a little bit to people in like Austin and other places, Baton Rouge. Like I wasn't sold on a lot of these quarterbacks being as great as people profess them to be, or Austin Simmons and I liked the Ty Simpson. I liked Marcel. I liked Sellers. I was off on that one, but I didn't like South Carolina. I thought they were going to be 7-5. Yep.
You went against me on that.
But where I was way off was Stockton. I thought he was going to lose them games this year. They've won the games he hasn't been that good in, and I don't remember really what he did against Bama. I know they lost that 24-21, but he has won them games. And he won them the Tennessee game, and he won them the Ole Miss game. And I didn't think he could be that guy, and he has been.
Well, and Beck lost them a couple games last year. That's
like
the difference.
Last week.
Just like last week. Yep. Exactly right. And now he looks like a guy that doesn't care about football anymore. It's funny week to week. But I think you're exactly right. That's a good one. Easy for me. Taylon Green, man. I mean, the guy's a dangerous, electric football player. If Taylon Green were even on a 500 team, he'd probably be the Heisman front runner right now. This guy, I think, plays a while in the NFL at 6'6", 235 pounds without the electricity. He can hit the deep ball. I think he's going to just absolutely crush Auburn this week because they don't have a whole lot to play for anymore.
Yeah.
I'm buying Taylon Green. Not Arkansas as a team, but I love watching this guy play football. Here's the other thing. Really glad we don't have to play him anymore.
Have you seen the offenses Texas has to play down the stretch?
Yeah.
Mississippi State starting this weekend, which is probably the worst of the bunch, and they're not terrible. Then you got Vandy and Diego Pavia. Then you've got Georgia and Stockton, who we just talked about. Then you've got Taylon Green, who you just talked about, and Bobby Petrino. And then you've got the Aggie. That elite defense will be put to the test. We're going to find out how elite they are. They gave up 400 to Kentucky this past week. And don't give me the time of possession thing, because if you watch the game, you saw a horrific high school-looking quarterback carve them up. Or not carve them up, but have success against them.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks earlier, you saw Florida gash them, throwing the ball in, running it. And you've got a nice, great defensive performance in between against Mateer. Guess who's on my sell list this week? John Mateer. I do not fear Mateer. I just think he was overrated. I think he was the most overhyped quarterback in the country through a couple of games. I didn't think he looked that brilliant against Michigan. He should have thrown 3 picks in that game. Correct. He made some amazing throws, but I don't think he has the weapons around him. I just think he's a good quarterback and he's a gamer, but I think these comparisons to Johnny or Baker, and it was just it was too much too soon. But I felt like people just heard a few people talking about him, and you see his highlight reel, and it felt like you had to agree with everyone. People covering this conference, and it's like everybody wanted to give OU credit because they had such a rough intro. It just felt forced.
Mm-hmm. Little group.
Now they could win this weekend, and I can see. And look, I can see OU being a 9-3 team, and with some nice wins. I just don't think Mateer to me isn't it. But at the same time, what's interesting about this weekend, if I'm selling an SEC team, it's actually not OU. I'm torn on who I'm selling here. I was about to sell Ole Miss, right? I'm not selling Ole Miss because of their schedule and because I think Trinidad Chambliss has done an amazing job, and they gave Georgia all they wanted. There was no shame in that performance in Athens. So I just crossed it out. I'm selling Tennessee.
Yeah. Defense is
so bad. And they're fortunate they beat Mississippi State. They got their butts kicked by Bama, who they play in between, and I think they were kind of fortunate to get as well. They're going to lose to somebody off the radar of these SEC teams.
Yep, I agree. I mean, for me, I got to go to Mark Stoops. I mean, what are you doing? Do you not watch film? You run it multiple times right into the teeth of that defense that's proven. The one thing, the very best part about Texas is they're going to hold up like a brick wall against run on when they know you're running it, and everyone knows it. And you have Seth McGowan, who's really good.
Yeah,
you could swing it out to him and let him beat one guy.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely a better play. You got that freshman. That's an easy pitch and catch for him, which you need.
A million things you could do.
There's so many things. Like, get a little creative. I mean, I'm absolutely, speak to a choir here, thrilled this guy's not still the A&M head coach. And I credit you, Billy Liucci, and TexAgs Twitter and Aggie Twitter for ensuring the Stoops era.
All I did was report what.
I still credit you.
What
you deserve a freaking statue.
I put it out on that Friday, and there was like 3 or 4 other names, and everyone picked up on my lingo.
You deserve a statue. I don't care.
Everybody picked up on my lingo real quick, and they zeroed right in. And they said, "Oh." It was like there was bright flashing lights beside the name Stoops when I said, he seems to have the most momentum right. And then you announced
it was going to happen.
Yeah, the night of. But
thank God he was only our coach for 5 or 6 hours, but not 5 or 6 years.
It's funny because a lot of the agent world was telling me in that last few days when Stoops first came up, they were telling me Stoops and the other one was Whittingham at Utah, which I love him, but I think that would have been a bad fit. A guy's ready to retire. He might retire after this year.
Old Gray Wolf.
Neither one of those would have been the pick. I mean, the pick was Mike Elko, and I like Jed Fish. That wasn't the pick either. The pick was Mike Elko and for the Aggies, and I'm so happy it worked out. Not a knock on Stoops. I'm not selling Mark Stoops because I never bought him or Kentucky, so
that's true.
I don't have them to sell.
I just wanted to give you credit. I wanted to raise the statue up.
I'm selling also Miami and Cristobal.
Yeah.
He is Mario Kart, like Super Mario Kart. That's what he is to me when he loses. So he hopped into the Mario Kart, wheeled that thing around down there at Hard Rock Stadium, and he's just having fun, goofing around, coaching like a 5-year-old, and then they lose that game.
Oh, he's a
Cristobal every time. And look, make them a national title contender with Super Mario and Carson Beck at your own risk, and they proved it again.
He coaches his way into a loss more than anybody else, I think. He's the biggest meathead in the sport.
I bet Marcus Freeman just kicking himself for losing to that guy.
Seriously. All right, rent.
Who am I renting? I'm going to rent. This is an interesting one.
Okay.
I think I'm going to rent Missouri this week.
Oh,
you've
been so on Vandy.
I've been on Vandy, and there's so much going on with them. And Mizzou they hadn't looked great against the teams from Alabama. They lost to Bama at home. It was a really good game, but they lost at home, and then they were lucky to escape Auburn. Real fortunate there. And again, Auburn's a tough team to put away. I get it, but they haven't looked great these last 2 weeks, like everybody was thinking they were playing nobodies. But I just have this feeling they're going to go in there and win and set up some big showdown with A&M.
Well, I'll rent the fact that there's going to be about 60,000 cowbells going crazy. Woo! You can't emulate that. We've had to experience that, and we've had so much doldrums over there over the years, more than we want to admit. It's not easy. Texas is probably better, but Mississippi State's just dangerous enough to beat them.
Yeah.
And as a passing attack to go with it. And, so I'm renting the fact that I think Mississippi State has a real shot here to pull an upset at home.
I agree with you.
It's what they do.
I agree with you. It almost sets up two believably, and Brennan Thompson, they got 3 former Longhorns on that team, right?
Yeah, Thompson committed here, played at Texas, played at OU.
They got Darian Gillette. They got Gillette. They got what's the big D lineman from over there? Is it Mart? Was he from? No, not Mart. What's the other? Marlin.
Marlin. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I do get them confused.
Bledsoe, Jere Bledsoe.
Okay.
Darian Gillette's from. Is he Mart or Marlin? But Gillette and Bledsoe, and then you've got obviously Brennan Thompson.
Yep.
And then you got Anthony Evans as well, and Chapin, who played at Baylor. Yep. So these guys would love to beat Texas. So would Jeff Lebby. He's got the OU and Baylor ties there. So
and went to OU, or am I wrong?
Yeah, played at OU. Yeah. From I believe he's from Andrews High School, maybe.
Oh wow.
I played
Shad Williams.
Yeah,
and
might have
Jeff
even
Lebby.
played with Shad. I'm not sure.
We beat them in the second round at the Jones Stadium, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. My junior year.
Who was y'all's best player back then?
Oh, it would have been Chris Robertson, of course.
Oh, that was the days. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Corey's older brother.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right. Now, Easton, let me give
Chris
you
Robertson, the running back for Texas.
Texas, not the Iowa guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I met Billy. I was telling him about Corey Robertson.
At Chili's.
You got to, I was his waiter. You got to check this guy out. He finally listened, but we were a little too late on that.
Yeah.
All right, so I wake Easton. We've had a busy week, and I wake him up like, dude, we hadn't done Easton's Corner, but he has football practice. This is ridiculous. We got to get there at 5:30 in the morning for 7th grade football because 8th grade's behind us.
Who's coaching y'all? Bear Bryant?
Well, it's a law about you can't practice in so much heat. There's a number there, and so in order to get both teams in, it's 2 teams per grade, so 4 teams. Get them off the thing before it gets too.
Soft.
Well, that's a state law. That's not a college station.
I know. Soft.
I know.
Just the sport.
I know.
Sport.
We can't practice after school, so in order to get them both in, you got to do it early. So he's a little tired. This is Easton today. We rolled tape at 5:25 a.m. talking about Arkansas,
I like it.
Looking ahead to LSU, and then he's got an interesting question for Looch at the end. Here you go.
This is Easton's Corner, and it's LSU week. I think this is a big game for A&M because I think that they're going to be not as great as an opponent as Arkansas, just because Arkansas's offense, it was so good, and LSU's offense is terrible. And their defense might be really good, but we can score a couple touchdowns and field goals on their defense. But with their offense being so bad, I think our defense can stop them like crazy. And then Arkansas week, I like to see Marcel ball out and go up in those Heisman rankings. And ABR finally getting a touchdown and finally doing good in one of the games. Nice to see E.J. Smith having a great game, bouncing off defenders. Marcel just finding his guys. On defense, we kind of struggled on defense, but that's just because Taylor Green got injured and then came back in the game and did that good. So I think Arkansas was a tough opponent, and I was definitely scared of them. But I don't think I'm as scared of LSU. I mean, we haven't won on the road at LSU in like 31 years. But I think we can beat them this week. And my question for you, Billy, is where do you put Marcel Reed in your Heisman rankings?
I saved that. I'm going to slide this over to you. BetMGM has him tied with Diego, or just ahead of Diego. 4th best odds to win the Heisman heading into week 9 of the college football season.
You know what's funny is as he said that, as he asked me that question, I was in my head immediately, I said, without looking, I said, I think he should be in the top 5. I'm okay with Ty Simpson at 1 with 4 straight ranked wins, and he looks the part. I mean, he's throwing dimes. He honestly, like,
oh yeah,
he's the reason Alabama's winning.
I bet McGee loves him.
Yeah, right.
The perfect pocket passing.
Mm-hmm. He's the reason Alabama's winning. I know they got weapons, but that dude, like, the way he's been playing, that's what. So I love Mendoza. Mm-hmm. He's really been Heisman Mendoza is a great nickname too.
It's good.
Julian saying people are sleeping on just because their team's so good. I think he's hurt by that. In fact, he might need some kind of. I just don't think he's going to win it because there is so much talent around him, and they are going to be challenged so little by that schedule, and he's not going to statistically be that. So I don't think. I think those first 2 are real threats to win it.
Yeah, and then he'll lose some votes to Jeremiah Smith too, probably.
And I look at the names behind these guys: Gunnar Stockton, Dante Moore, Jeremiah Smith, Trinidad Chambliss, Maivea, Carson Beck, who should be off the list. Pavia and Reed are like, you both have a chance to win a Heisman Trophy in a year where no one's just taking a stranglehold of it. Marcel Reed, you get to go quarterback in Death Valley. You get to go play a ranked game on the road at Missouri, and then you get to play against the Texas Longhorns and the name and Arch Manning and that brand and that in that game that everyone's going to watch on a Friday night. So there is a real chance for Marcel Reed, and more importantly, Marcel Reed has a great offensive line in front of him, and he's got playmaking receivers, and he's got a running game, and he's got receivers that can help him put up those necessary numbers because they can make tough catches deep down the field. They can catch short and turn it into long. He's got a real opportunity. I think A&M can get to the playoffs without winning this weekend. Marcel to win a Heisman and to get to New York, I think they need to win. They need to win in Baton Rouge. And I think if they do, you'll start to really hear this pick up. And Pavia's got the same opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
He's got the same Missouri team this week. He's coming off a high-profile game against LSU. So literally, Pavia and Marcel are playing LSU and Missouri both back-to-back right at the same time. And then Pavia also gets Texas in Austin. So these guys are kind of having the same opportunities. Now, I think Vandy also, he's got Tennessee. And I don't know who else they've got in there. I think they play somebody else quality as well. Maybe it's Florida. But, yeah, check them out.
Kentucky, Auburn.
Okay, Auburn. So he's got Auburn, Tennessee, Texas, and Missouri. So he'll have to earn it.
Yeah, he will.
So will Marcel. But, like, these two guys, if you look at Sayin, Mendoza, Simpson, Dante Moore, who's in the mix, even Trinidad Chambliss, who's down the list, Reed and Pavia play the better teams. They have more opportunities. Now, with that comes more risk of losing. But those two, I would, if I was a betting man, you could almost bet on those two, plus 1,000, plus 1,100. Bet Bet $100 on Reed and 100 on Pavia, and you
Hedge
have
a little
chance.
bit.
Yeah. Now, the other guy on this list that I think I
was waiting for it.
I would bet 100 on too. I mean, I might bet more on Reed just for the fun of it. But
is he at 18-1?
Yeah.
Oh, here you're going.
So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna spend $500. Right?
Okay.
I'm gonna do 300 on Reed to try to win 3,000. I'm gonna do 100 on Pavia, and I'm gonna do 100 on Jeremiah Love.
Yep.
After what he did against USC,
he's had some moments, man.
He has a chance to just go off. Now he's held back by your boy a little bit.
He is,
not held back in a bad way, but Price, from Denison is splitting the carrot. But man, Jeremiah Love is such a stud. If they played if they could even have just played in like a conference championship game where he goes for 200 yards, he might have done it.
Yeah.
But I do think he's going to find his way to New York.
Excellent stuff. There you go. Good question, Easton. Let's break down A&M LSU and close it out. 6:30 Death Valley. Vegas, like Liucci, also thinks this game's going to be close. A&M a road favorite by 2.5. A&M is already vanquished 131-year-old Demon. 7-0 for the first time in 94. Now they're trying to win in LSU for the first time since 94. Let alone, people don't like to talk about that. We didn't play over there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Still, it's been a while. It needs to end.
Well, you haven't won in the SEC.
Number one thing you're watching Saturday night.
The weather.
Yeah.
That's number one, the equalizer there. Number two, this Aggie defense. You're playing against an offense that has struggled all year. If this defense plays like they did against, think about them versus offenses that have struggled. Florida and Auburn, and not that Mississippi State has really struggled, but you held them to 9. You held Auburn to 10. You held Florida to 17, but 3 of it after the first 2 drives of the game, or the first 12 minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. You held them out of the end zone, just a field goal. When this team plays offenses that aren't good, and I know LSU has talent. We know that. We don't have to go down the list. We know.
But it hasn't translated.
So did Mississippi State, so did Florida, and so did Auburn. And if the Aggie defense rebounds, then I feel really good about A&M winning, no matter what the score is, whether it's 30-23, 30-7, 28-17. 21-13, like wherever you have to keep it, I feel really good about A&M if that defense has one of those type games. The other thing I'm going to watch is LSU and their ability to slow down the Aggie ground game. Can they? Mm-hmm. It's a good defense, but Whitweek's still in a walking boot as we sit here on a Wednesday.
Yep.
They've had other injuries on defense, so that'll be it. And the other thing to watch is Cassius Howell versus that banged up LSU offensive line is without their starting tackle.
I was going to say, I think our biggest edge is Howell and Hayes in that combination. Yeah. Hayes is playing really good on the other side too, and that helps so much.
How about a prediction of a Marco Jones sack this week too?
He'll be back-to-back, wouldn't
you notice him a little bit more now, and he's getting very minimal reps. If that number goes up, I think you could see more production out of him as well.
You don't have to count at all for the run game. He's 21 carries for no yards, so that's the one thing. Kind of like Shapen. You don't have to count for that at all. And I think Caden Durham's the 7th best back we've seen, because the 2 guys at LSU, Henry at UTSA, Washington last week, Ball and Bothwell. I mean, this guy's he's good, but we've seen a ton of this guy.
Caden Durham will be a lot better with a better offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's the question.
I should say the run game.
Yeah, where does their O-line rank in what you've
Worst.
seen? It might be more like Auburn's, which you saw with. So
exactly.
That bodes well, but none of that matters when it's kicked off. It's LSU. It's Texas A&M. It's the Bayou Bengals. It's fighting Texas Aggies. This rivalry goes way back. It's not as wild as Arkansas, but there's always been some kind of wild storyline, or, it's a weird one. And you play it at night in Death Valley, mix in some weather. It reminds me of this past week, just minus the fireworks. I think it's more defensive fireworks, but I like this team's ability to stare down that challenge and say, okay, we're going to go play our game, and that we're going to win by playing how we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I like A&M's physicality. Elko mentioned it early and on in the rivalry. A&M wasn't really matching LSU's physicality. They have in recent years, and I think they've become more physical. So, yeah, I mean, it's just these games they suck in terms of stress and stuff. But
they do. But
let me ask you this:
the alternative.
Who you ask LSU fans, which team would you rather coach and team would you rather be going into battle with right now? And every one of them would say Texas A&M's group.
There's no question.
If we could have them and you guys could have our guys and our coach, they would make that trade.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if that's where you're starting off, that's I think that's a good way to look at it and wipe out kind of the nerves and just go. Every one of those people in that stadium this week are thinking, man, if I had that team versus and then don't forget what A&M did to them last year. That's lingering a little bit, and hopefully in A&M's head, like any semblance of propping LSU up on a pedestal like used to be the case, that's non-existent now.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's
we'll
going to
see.
be fun.
I think it'll be another
Cannot
tight one. Gosh, if they get back 8-0, conversation changes a lot.
Yep. Yeah, you got to go back to 92 last time A&M was 8-0 because we lost to that bad SMU team in San Antonio. 94. Yep, exactly. Ah, my goodness. All right, episode 9 in the books. Meet us right here, TexAgs.com/live and TexAgs YouTube every Wednesday, high noon for Looch Bock, Ags, Tigers, Saturday in Death Valley, 6:30 kick. We'll all be watching it, and we'll break it down next week. Gig 'em. Let the good times roll. We'll talk to you then.